Hello, this video is for Math 2415, Professor Smalley, second summer session online course. Now this video is designed to help walk you through the content, because if you've never taken, especially an online course at all, you go in there trying to figure out how to start and where everything is. So this is just going to give you an explanation to help you kind of get started here. Now there's a couple ways you can get into D2L. One way is right here through the My Lone Star login, which then accesses you to whatever features of My Lone Star. But you can bypass that and you can type in d2l.lonestar.edu. And you can get in via secure login or the alternate login. I believe the secure login will pretty much be the same thing as My Lone Star. Now every once in a while, not often, but if there's a problem with My Lone Star, sometimes D2L actually works independently of My Lone Star. And so I often will choose, and I like to choose this bottom one, if as long as it works okay. If it doesn't work, I'll use the other one, alternate login, because it pretty much takes me straight to D2L. I don't have to go to the My Lone Star page, and then you pick on, online from there. And of course, you're not going to have all these courses listed for yourself, but let me come over here and access our course right here. Math 2415 6001. All right. Let's look at the, we're going to look at the syllabus here in a minute, but let me kind of start with some important features. Content, grades, and course activities are the key features in this course that we need to access. Grades just, shows you what your scores are, but to get any work done, we need the content and the course activities. So we're going to, first thing, got a nice little, this syllabus and other items, doesn't hurt to look through there and see what you can find. We're going to take a look at the syllabus. And I'm going to download this, and to download any file. And you can do this for any file that I have in there. You can, if you want to keep them for whatever reason, help yourself, just download them as PDF files and save them. It'll just be easier to see it on the whole screen than within that window in D2L. So I'll zoom in on this and see what we got. We're using a new syllabus tool to create our syllabi. So a little bit different looking than what I normally do, and I'll try to make sure there's not any mistakes as I'm looking through this. We basically go through and answer a bunch of questions, then it creates the syllabus, or enter our information, that sort of stuff. All right, looks okay so far. Got my email address. You can either email me directly, or if you're in D2L, you can email me that way. It automatically gets forwarded to my same Lone Star site, so either way is the same. All right, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to scroll down here. I'm not going to read all this. And let's take a look. We had to fill this out about technology. We need a computer or smartphone. Smartphone, I guess you could, but the screens are so small it'll be hard to see stuff, but technically it would work. A computer would be a little bit better, I think, when you're looking at exams, in D2L and that sort of thing, to be able to see it better. Calculator we need. Now, because of COVID-19, this is going to be an unproctored course as far as exams. So these calculators I would normally not allow. I can't really do much about it now, so that's fine. But I just kind of left that there, because when we do go back at some point to proctored exams, those will be those particular calculators I won't allow. Here's the official textbook. I will, and I'll talk about another thing here in a minute, but you don't have to have this book. If you've got another calculus book you're already using, that's fine. There's no assignments that are coming specifically from this book. My math lab, I have a code for university calculus, but if you have previous access to a My Math Lab book, that, of course, Pearson has to be currently supporting that textbook. Anyway, long story short, I can create a code for you and for a blank course where you could then you can access whatever you want out of there, the book. I can do that. But if the book is too old, I won't be able to create a code for you. So if you've already paid for the My Math Lab before and you want to just use it, I'm not going to create assignments, just give you access to the book and videos and stuff. All right, here's a bunch of guidelines and policies. It's got the drop date in there. I'm not going to read through that. Blah, 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 blah. Here we go. Okay, let's get down here to the grades. All right. Now we're going to have 3 exams and 1 final exam, and then we're going to have some quizzes. We have 8 quizzes, and I'll drop 3, so the best 5 out of 8 will be averaged to form the quiz average, quiz grade, sometimes the same thing. Now, let's look at how this works. So you have, and it's weighted the same as an exam. So you've got 3 exams, exam 1, exam 2, exam 3, and the quiz average. That is 4 items. The lowest of those 4 will be dropped, and then basically each one's weighted at 25%, so that makes 75% right here. So one of those 4 will be dropped. So, sometimes students, they'll ask me, I have to make it clear, though, that are you dropping the lowest exam? But I want to, let's make it clear, though, that means your quiz average has to count. So someone can't ignore the quizzes and then drop an exam, if that makes sense. If you ignored the quizzes, all 3 of your exams would have to count. For most people, the quiz average is a benefit. Every once in a while, it's not. But for most people, they use that to replace a bad test grade or not as good as test grade they want. So usually, but that's okay. If you had 3 exams that were higher than your quiz average, that's okay. The quiz average would be the one that was dropped. So that's the better way to explain it. Not saying that I drop an exam, it's just that one of those 4 scores will be dropped. Someone last semester tried to do something where they tried to get the quiz average to count twice or whatever, and they thought their grade was higher than it really was, and I had to carefully explain to them, no. Yeah, they wanted to have the quiz grade and then drop one of the 3 exams and replace it with the quiz grade again. The quiz grade will not count twice. It was a nice attempt on their part, but it did not work. The quiz average can only count once. And then the final, cumulative, but it's also 25%. So it's the same weighting there. And there's 100%. Here's your graded scores, normal grading scale. This is just a kind of a calendar format I came up with. The quiz dates, due dates. Now, exam due dates. Now, if I adjust any of those for whatever reason I feel necessary, like who knows? Like let's say, for example, let's say if D2L went down for a day or something, and I needed to postpone everything by 1 day or something. I will do that in what's called the D2L calendar, which I'll show you. I'm not going to go back and change this, but I will make an announcement about that. So that's why you always need to be paying attention to the D2L announcements. I will mention, hey, quiz 4 now is due whatever the next day. So I'm not going to mess with this. But this is accurate right now, though. But if I have to change it, I will change it in D2L, not here. So this is just kind of a guideline of sections to cover for a week. I'm not going to be checking up on you, individually. You can, everything will be open when the class opens. All the assignments will be ready. So if you even felt like you wanted to work at a little bit faster pace, which is hard to do in a course this short, but if you did, you could, if you needed to finish a little early or whatever, that you can certainly do that. So in other words, these due dates is when the last day to do it, not the only day to do it. Everything will be, say, open and ready to go for you And then the last day is Sunday the 16th. That's the end of the course. All right, so you can read through this. Just sort of tells you more stuff, how to get started and go through, you know. Talks about the quizzes a little bit, which I'm going to show you those quizzes here in a minute. I need to, let me bring up, I'll pause this for a minute. So, all right, I had made a revision to the syllabus that I had not fixed here, but now it's prepared. So the exams and the quizzes and everything, they're all going to be multiple choice format. We're not going to have proctored exams this term, so I'll bring those back again in the future, but it's not your concern. But they would have been, well, the first one would have been unproctored, but the other ones would have been proctored, so you just have to take them by the deadline. All right. I will conduct a few online meetings. I'll see how it goes. If people aren't really showing any interest, then I may not do them. I'll see. Maybe like right near each exam or something might be the best time to do it. Now, when I say online meetings, it's just it'll be more like a question and answer, more for help. I'm not going to do online lectures. I already have lectures recorded, so they're not going to be online real-time lectures. They're just strictly for you to pop in and ask questions, more like me giving tutoring assistance as much as anything else. So in other words, that's why if I have one of these and you unable to attend or don't attend, you're not missing any information other than what you might have wanted to ask me or something. But you could always email me or something. So yes, these online meetings we're not having live lectures. Upswing is this new. They're doing tutoring now online. Whether they'll have somebody that can do Cal 3 or not, that's always tough, but maybe. You'd have to investigate that. All right, the rest of this probably isn't important. I think there's the upswing thing is mentioned again, how to create an account, and then here's just sort of an academic calendar. So we start on July 9th and then end on August 16th. I'm sure there's the drop dates in here now, I think, somewhere. Well, you can figure it. Yeah, like I said, I don't know, because we're using, some of the stuff I added like right here, but we're using this new program that creates a syllabi, so I don't know where everything is off the top of my head. Oh, there it is. So it automatically spits this out in the syllabus. August 4th. All right. Let's see. Official day of record is July 13th. You need to make sure you're online and participating, at least have logged in, and or I may give you an assignment, something simple, where you like answer a simple question or two, just to verify that you're part of the course, because you run the risk of being dropped from the course if you don't go into D2L by the 13th, because then it looks like you're not involved at all. All right, so that's going to take care of the syllabus. Let's go back up here and see what else. We're going to go through this syllabus folder. A lot of good stuff in here. Remember, you can always, sometimes people will ask me questions that, I don't mind, but that they could have easily found right here and saved themselves a lot of time. This is a list of problems in the final exam. I don't do that for every exam, but I do it for the final. It just doesn't give you the questions and the numbers here. It just sort of tells you the type of questions and what section they come from in the Larson book, which I'll show you here in a minute, the old Larson book. And I'll make an announcement involving the number of questions on each exam. I think there's 20 on the first, maybe 25 on the first one, and then 20 on the next two, and then 25 on the final. I'll put that in an announcement, so you just look for that. Always pay attention to my announcements. Now, I have exam reviews, but of course the exam reviews on the other exams are going to be, more questions than there are in the actual test. Which makes sense. The more practice, the better. These are just practice problems that you can work if you want to. They're not, the quizzes will be a grade, but practice problems if you have time. I know it's hard in the short term, because you got to get the quizzes done because they count for a grade. The exam review is very good as far as covering everything. The quizzes are certainly material that we're going to cover, but it might not be everything. So that's why the quizzes are not necessarily comprehensive. They're like a major subset of all the material. So you can't rely just on them. Formulas, you'll be able to use these formulas, obviously, because it's an unproctored exam. What I usually been doing is, the reason why I said I'm not provided is I let students use note sheets, but I'm thinking about going back in the future, going back to giving you these formulas and giving the students the formulas and not allowing personal note sheets. So but anyway, that's why I said not provided, meaning people would have to have written those down, but not your problem. In this semester, you can print it out, open it up as a file, as a PDF, whatever you want to do. Now we'll talk about the quizzes. This shows you how to enter the quizzes. I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you how to do this, but knowing that file there is convenient because, inevitably there'll be at least a couple of people that ask me, I don't know how to look at my quiz. And I'll tell you, but between watching the video and knowing that file is there, it'd save you a lot of trouble. You can figure it out quickly. Now this file down here at the bottom is very important. Like I said, you can use a textbook if you have one. You can get the current textbook, which, I understand the current textbook's a pretty good deal if you're starting in Cal 1 and going through Cal 3. Hard to justify it, though, for, your terminal calculus course. This is a PDF of an old book, and that's kind of the one that my notes match this book, too. My notes and lecture videos. So you have access to this calculus book. So you can download that PDF, and then I think once you download the PDF, you can find an index on there. If you click on the left side, you can get to an index, search for what you want. So that's convenient. So that's a textbook there. So that's wonderful. So you've got that resource. All right, takes care of this. Oh, before I forget, let me jump over. I'm going to look at this in student mode here for a minute. Yeah, here's what I was talking about over here on the right side. This is the official D2L calendar that shows those dates. And like I said, like I was saying earlier, if I had to adjust something, it will only be adjusted here, not on the syllabus. So it's showing you all these deadline dates, which right now are the exact same as that syllabus. All right. And now let's go up and down this left column over here in the content folder and see what you've got. Lecture notes. Got lecture notes for every section. And they're grouped by exams. Now this block down here that says vector fields and line integrals, that's the chapter 15 in the Larson book. That's on the final. In fact, there's a couple of quizzes on it, and it's on the final, but it's not on the first 3 exams. So if you come up and go, hey, what's going to be on, oh, here's exam 1 right here. This shows you know exactly what's going to be covered on that exam. It's organized by folder. So exam 1 goes 11-1 through this section 12-5. So that's how you know. There's no mystery like, uh-oh, what sections are going to be on the exam? I don't know. You do know. Here's this chapter. This pretty much covers exam 2. And then now exam 3 is going to have one more section in there. I need to add that in there. But anyway, And then there's the stuff from Chapter 15 that's just on the final and 2 quizzes, but not one of the first 3 exams. All right, so let's come back over here. We got notes. I got some old Cal 1 and Cal 2 notes if you needed to look up anything or whatever. Even pre-Cal notes, which I don't think we need. I have lecture videos. Right there, and they're also grouped by exam. Everything. We watch the lecture video, which should correspond with my notes. Now, it might not be a perfect match, because if I've edited the notes a little bit, it might not match exactly, but I mean, so whatever, whatever I'm saying in the video, though, will be correct based on whatever you're looking at on the screen. In other words, if it doesn't line up 100% with the notes, it'll still be accurate content. All right, so we got them for each exam. Exam reviews and solutions. So each exam. So what we have here is, okay, I've got it broken down into 2 sections here. PDF. So these are the PDF files. So sample problems will just be the problems themselves for you to practice. And I think there might be a key at the end of the file or whatever, an answer key. But this solutions file is showing my written solutions to the problem. And there's sample 1, there's exam 2, exam 3. I got those broken down into a couple of separate files. I think they were kind of long, so I wanted to take a break between the 2. Just some extra practice. Here's the ones for the final. Of course, for the final, you just want to gear yourself to the list of the, so whatever, it doesn't matter on the final. Now, on the regular reviews, anything goes, anything can be asked. But since I gave you that specific list on the finals, that tells you for sure what's going to be asked. So if there's something on the review that's not on that list, then you don't have to worry about it. And then here, the video solutions. Now, I have those broken into separate groups. I thought I was saying earlier about talking too much. I meant for the videos, not the PDF files don't talk. So the videos, I kind of cut them into pieces. Plus, it was less likely that the file would crash, if it did when it was rendered, and that way I wouldn't have lost so much work. I've had that trouble sometimes. So nothing worse than doing a 40 problem video than have it crash. So what I would do is just do them in small segments at a time, because that way if it did crash, it wasn't as big a deal to do it again. So they're kind of broken down in segments. And the videos are basically, I showed you the other page there that I have I said the written solutions. I didn't open one up, but the written solutions, this video is me explaining the written solution. So you might go to a problem, and then you go to my written solution file, you look at it, then it makes sense, and you're good, you're fine. But if it didn't and you needed more clarification, you could then come to here and listen to me talk about it if you needed extra assistance. Totally up to you. Now, the lecture videos I would watch because they're just lecture videos. Now, it's these reviews that you just can kind of pick and choose, problems you need to see it for. And since I got them by sections, you can just YouTube and get the video, and you can kind of drag it along to get to whatever problem you need. You don't have to watch the whole thing. All right, so that takes care of that. Let me think of what we're going to talk about the quizzes here in a minute. I believe that's going to be the last thing we need to do. All right. Now the quizzes. The quizzes are not quizzes in the sense of where you take like the exams. You take the quizzes and they're like homework basically. So what you do is you already have the questions. There are the quiz files. Each one of them, I believe, has 10 problems. So you open up the quiz file. Now, of course, you got to pay attention to when it's due. You work these problems out. Work them out. You only save the work for yourself. Doesn't need to be submitted or shown to me. and you work them out, and when you are ready to go, because say you still have to do it, not when you get ready to go yet, no later than the deadline. So when you have your answers, you will go to up here, course activities, quizzes, and this is where the quizzes and the exams are located. So what you'll do, so if you're ready to take quiz 1, I'm not going to actually open up the quiz here, but you will click on quiz 1, and it'll tell you to enter or start the quiz. It was like start. And it says start. You'll start the quiz, and you'll go through and mark your answers from that you got from the PDF file. So you're just entering answers at that point. I've got the timer set for like 60 minutes, but it shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes. Now, you do want to be careful, though, when you're going through there. I mean, it still won't take long, but don't go racing through there too fast, because I don't know what causes this, but some of the problems, it may scramble the order of the answers. It won't change the numeric value. In other words, you work the problem, it's not changing the numbers, but it could change the order of the answers. Like, for example, let's say you work a problem, and you're certain that 2 pi is the right answer. And let's say 2 pi was letter A on the PDF file. When you come and look at that same problem in the quiz, it might be letter D. But if you know 2 pi is the right answer, you pick 2 pi regardless of what letter it is. Hope that's clear. So I didn't try to do that to trick you. It just does it. So you watch for that. Watch for the scrambling. And then here, so you've got the deadline. And to review the quiz, I have a file there in that same folder down there where the syllabus is and that textbook. But I'm going to show you real quick without actually looking at one. The quizzes are available to view 1 hour after the deadline. So even if you submit it 4 days early, and you want to, if you missed one, you want to see which one it was, you got to wait until this point in time. So if the first one's due July 15th at 11, you can look at it starting from July 16th at midnight, through the rest of the term. It won't close, but it'll end when the term ends. Now, how do we view them? This could be a little confusing, but once I show you, it's not hard. My instinct, if I was a student, I'd have come right back over and clicked on that quiz, that blue quiz. Seems logical, but that's not correct. I want to put it in student mode so you can see. Seems logical, but that's only to take the quiz. So once the quiz has been taken, that feature won't work. So clicking this blue thing doesn't accomplish anything. What you do is you click down on the drop-down arrow, and it'll be submissions. Now, we don't have a submission here, but so you click on submissions, and then I believe the next thing to click on will be view attempt or something like that. And that's how you can view your attempt, and it'll show you if you missed one. It'll show you which one you can identify which one you missed, and then what was the correct answer. So that's a little tricky, but once you get the hang of it, there'll be nothing to it. Now, the exams are not proctored in this class, but I still put a password with them, and I'll put an announcement in D2L, just so somebody wouldn't open it by mistake, on the exam. I want you to not, that way if you have to actually type in a password, you're not likely to open it by mistake, like you might a quiz. That's okay for the quiz, I don't mind as much if I have to reset it, but I'd rather not on the exams. Now, of course, if this was a proctored environment, I would not be giving you the password, and the idea is the testing proctor would enter the password to activate the test. But you have to self-activate these tests. Yeah, in fact, I'll put this in writing, but it's real simple. They're going to be lowercase, no space, exam 1, exam 2, exam 3, final exam. Even no space on final exam. Those are going to be the passwords, but I will put those out in writing. I believe that the exams are anywhere from about 3.5 to 4.5 hours length here. I'll have to go back into the instructor mode here. Almost logged out like I did earlier. So let's go back to this, but I'll put that in an announcement also. I'll say, for example, exam 1, 20 questions, password, and then length. This one's probably 3.5 hours. I'm just going to edit it just to where it shows me the settings, so you don't have all these features. $210. That's 3.5 hours. Yeah, there's what's telling me there's a password right there. But I'll put that all in an announcement. And let's see. Go back to that. So there's the. So that'll be for the exam. The only difference is you'll have to enter the password, and you don't have the questions in advance for the exams. Yeah, like see the final exam, like I was showing you, that's just the description. That's not the actual question that has numbers in it. It just tells you the type of problem. So here's everything all lined up right in here. You see all the deadlines and everything. I think I showed you where that calendar was also on the bottom right. And let's see. Okay, let's go back to the home. I think we're about done here. Can't think of any. Of course, by the time you see this video, there should be an announcement there saying, welcome to the course. And it'll be probably the first thing I put in there. And it'll be a link to this video also. So like I said, grades just show you, grades, everything's going to be generated, off the computer, so it'll dump the scores in there. I'm probably not going to be manually entering any grades. If I had to, that would be where checking them would be important, but there's really no way that this can be screwed up if it's just, you take a quiz, hit submit. Now, unless I forgot to set the setting on the quiz to where export to gradebook. I've done that every once in a while. So if you take a quiz, submit it, you don't see it in the gradebook, then let me know and I can fix that. But in other words, it's not going to, for example, let's say if you make 100 on a quiz, it's not going to record it as an 80 or something like that. But like I said, if I forgot to do that, forgot to change the setting, then that could be on me, and I could easily fix that. So there shouldn't be problems there, other than just for you to kind of look at your grades overall and that sort of thing. So we looked at all the content, notes and videos, quizzes, and I think we're good to go. So hopefully we'll have a fun 6 weeks of Cal 3 together.